Yes, Chitram, I'm ready to go.
There are no dreams too large, no innovations unimaginable, and no frontiers beyond our reach. Honorable dignitaries, learned delegates, respected teachers and students, a very warm welcome to our 7th International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems, organized by the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Center for Micro Nano Design and Fabrication, in association with the IEEE Madras section.
Prayer makes your heart bigger. Prayer begets faith. Faith begets love. Love begets service. With that note, we are now moving on to the Tamil Thai Valthu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமழந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறந்து என்று செயல் பறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Light must come from inside. We cannot ask the darkness to leave. Instead, we must turn the spark of light within ourselves. We are glad to organize the conference through a virtual mode and let us together light the lamp of love in our heart, lamp of abundance in our home, lamp of compassion to serve others, the lamp of knowledge to dispel the darkness of ignorance, and the lamp of gratitude for the abundance that the divine has bestowed on us. A good mind and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Here we have a dynamic lady, Dr. Srijita S. Nath, Associate Dean, ECE, Biomedical Engineering and Medical Electronics, to deliver the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Chitra. A very good morning to all our eminent scholars, honored guests, principal, vice principal, and ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure indeed for me to welcome you all to the 7th International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems ICSS 2020, organized by the Department of ECE, Savita Engineering College, Chennai. I am very happy and grateful that many distinguished professors and scholars have come from both India and abroad to share their knowledge and experience among us in this platform. As the saying goes, curiosity is the curiosity is the wick in the candle of learning. The International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems have been held several times, but I'm proud to announce that this is the first time our conference is held in a virtual mode. And for this, we thank our management and our beloved principal and vice principal for encouraging us to do this. One tree can start a forest. One word can frame a goal. And one candle can wipe out darkness. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone. I take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Founder President Sir and Chancellor of Savita University, Dr. N.M. Virayan Sir, and our beloved Director, Dr. S. Rajesh Sir, Savita Engineering College, who has led us from all fronts to be the best. It is my turn now to extend a very gracious and inclusive welcome to our beloved Principal Sir, who is a dynamic force behind all our innovative endeavors, and our dear Vice Principal Sir, and all my HOD friends and dear faculty members, my students, and not the least, all participants from various parts of the world. I sincerely wish that the conference will be a great success, not only as a chance to share the knowledge and experience, but also as the beginning of a long and fruitful cooperation and friendship among all fellow educators. I wish everyone a successful and a very fruitful conference. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A successful leader not only finds the right place for himself, but also the right place for others. With all due respect, I'm honored to welcome Dr. R. Ramesh, Principal, SEC, a man with true essence of knowledge, to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Very good morning to one and all present here. Thank you for joining with us the 7th International Conference on Smart Structures and System. It is with great pleasure that I welcome the participants of IEEE 2020. Acquire knowledge and impart it to the people. To our eminent speakers and delegates who have from all over the world, I bid you a very warm welcome to the conference IEEE 2020. A conference is a gathering of people who alone can do nothing, but together can decide that anything can be done. The quest for knowledge has been from the beginning of time, but the knowledge only becomes valuable when it is disseminated and applied to the benefit of humankind. It is hoped that IEEE 2020 will be the platform together and disseminate the latest knowledge in electronics engineering. Academicians, scientists, researchers, and practitioners of various fields of engineering will be able to share and discuss new findings and applications of systems in engineering. In his famous speech, Abraham Lincoln made the popular phrase, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." It is advised that the intellectual discourse will result in future collaboration between universities, research institutions, and industry, both locally and internationally. In particular, it is expected that the focus will be given to issues on sensors, systems, smart structures, and sustainability. In an increasingly globalized world, there is a critical need to develop guidelines and recommendations for promoting integrity in research at an international level. Such a standard will be especially important for educators and education institutions like Savita Engineering College, growing rapidly as a major research institute. It will serve as a guideline against which our behavior can be assessed and be a point of reference to deal with infractions in research integrity. According to great British statesman Winston Churchill, I am always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. Indeed, it is important to improve good values and practices early on in our young researchers, starting at the undergraduate level. Not only should we guide them on what is inappropriate behavior, but more positively, we must educate them about best practices in research. Finally, I would like to congratulate the organizing committee for the tremendous effort in organizing such a great conference. I believe that you can fly to great heights if you believe it yourself. In closing, I encourage delegates to participate actively in the interesting discussions. I hope you will have the most productive day of interesting and stimulating discussions. I sincerely wish that this conference will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now we like to welcome all the keynote speakers who have joined with us now. I hope Dr. Sujata ma'am, Dr. Mohammed Mahi Hassani has also joined with us, and all the department heads of our college have also joined. We welcome you all for joining with us today. So now I request Ms. Kalipriya O. Saravanan, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, to introduce our guest, Dr. Indrapreet Kambo, Associate Principal, Charles River Associates, Boston. Please, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I take immense pleasure in introducing our chief guest, Dr. Inderpreet Kambo. Dr. Inderpreet Kambo is an associate principal in CRA's Boston, US office and manages RD Navigator, CRA's rare disease patient tracking platform. He has managed numerous data and strategy consulting projects on topics including business opportunity assessment, competitive intelligence, patient engagement with numerous pharmaceutical and biotech companies. He owns and innovates synthesis of primary and secondary data sources commonly used in the paramedical industry. To name a few, IQVIA data, global data, clinicaltrials.gov, Redbook, etc. Dr. Inderpreet Kambo brings strong reporting capabilities and abilities to manage highly visible multiple projects on strict timeline that adhere to the firm's industry identity and values. His projects include market sizing and segmentation, patient identification and tracking, building data center of excellence, M&A opportunity evaluation, commercial assessment of assets. Prior to CRA, he was a senior product specialist at IQVIA, where he created and led many data platforms and gained deep experience in data analysis, new product design, and project management. He also holds invitee reviewer positions to international data journals and magazines, besides being a renowned speaker at various universities and conferences. We are very happy to have you amongst us today, sir. I request our chief guest, Dr. Inderpreet Kambo, to deliver the keynote address. I request you to please take over the session, sir.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Respected principal, sir, vice principal, delegates, dignitaries, HODs, and all the participants. Thank you so much for having me in the conference, and I'm very happy and pleased to be a part of ICSSS 2020. It's my pleasure to be a part of this conference. I wanted to present something, but then I thought and held back. Rather than a very formal presentation, I wanted to have a conversation around what's happening in the technology world, how things are moving, how the students and the professionals should gear themselves for this new era. So as it was introduced, I work in the field of data analytics. Technology is my focus, and we see a lot of improvements happening not in the terms of years timeline, but months, where we were few months back, those technologies are almost obsolete. So it comes to a point where how is technology changing our daily life, and how, as students, professionals working in different departments, and it is irrespective whether someone is working in communications, electronics, biomedical engineering, how do we cope up, manage the expectations, and how do we gear ourselves for these exciting opportunities and times ahead? When we started, even like 5-10 years back, what we saw, those technologies were in their very initial stages. We were still talking about technologies such as like electronic medical records, trying to convert simplified systems into computer systems. Fast forward 5 years, now we're talking about artificial intelligence. We do not talk in terms of megabytes, but we talk in gigabytes and petabytes of data. Things needs to be predictive instead of descriptive. Physicians are wanting to have clinical decision support systems on their hand. Uh, Pilots and aircraft industry, they want to predict the weather. Everything is happening with technology at the forefront. And this is an exciting time because now we are able not only to predict what's going to happen, but also embrace it in our day-to-day operations. Um, Artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, reporting, these are not just buzzwords for us to know or to adopt. These are actual and legit things that I would say we embrace, we use on a day-to-day side. Giving you some of the examples from my experiences in past life, we I work in healthcare and pharmaceutics, to be very specific. How it was a physician patient one-to-one model where a physician is responsible for prescribing these medicines, taking the diagnostic test, and then providing the care. It has transformed into a big value care where all the patients with their different symptoms, they aggregate into clusters and provide a community-based outcomes. uh, there is a very strong emphasis on how these patients are being treated at a community level. Prevention is the mode, not the treatment. And the technology is at the forefront where we are now digitalizing all these medical records, our patient records, physician data, patient data, helping find these patients. And this becomes the central core of how the value is delivered. And it's not only restricted to healthcare or pharmaceutics. We look around, from Amazon, Flipkarts of the world, in the e-commerce state, to retail and airlines, to healthcare, pharma space. Every industry is getting revolutionized by data analytics, technology, and we just saw what Tesla did a few years back, where it was almost impossible for someone to even imagine going the space, to creating companies where these are the private players in this industry and in this realm, where now it's very tangible to book a ticket or to book a space where now you want to go to into the real world space. So just in the last few years, things have revolutionized rapidly and significantly. And in the next 5 to 10 years, things will further grow, I would say, even better, more than exponentially. So it is an opportunity for all of us, professionals, academicians, teachers, to know what's coming out in the immediate future, and to see how can we equip ourselves. But is technology a boon or a bane? Are these the terms that we are using? Are these only for the benefit of humankind, or is it also something that we should be cautious of? There are a lot of ethical security concerns around technology. In one of the speeches by Bill Gates, he mentioned that AI and advanced technologies could almost be compared to some of the dictatorship that we have in North Korea. Stephen Hawking's, who is the famous person behind the black hole discovery, or Elon Musk behind Tesla, they all are proponents that the speed of progress of technology and analytics is more than what we can embrace. And it is posing a lot of concerns. Concerns from ethical concerns. Will it outpace human? What would the future look like? Would it be just about smart cars and flying cars in 2040, or would it just replace humans and become even more powerful than humans? There are already known concerns about the physicians being replaced by advanced smart systems called CDS, clinical decision supports. If you look into some of the data scientists and researchers working in this field, especially under the deep mining umbrella, you would be it's too interesting to see the pace on at which this is revolutionizing. So we need to be equipped at what's happening, but at the same time be cautious in how these are revolutionizing and how these things are changing our day-to-day operations. I would, as someone who is always interested in technology and want to share what I learn, and also learn from everyone, including the participants here today, I want to re-emphasize that this space is not only about knowing things and what's happening, but it's to embrace, it's to adopt these technologies and play extra significance to the technologies that are happening, because whether it's healthcare, medical field, retail, e-commerce, every business directly or indirectly is and will be getting affected by technology. And when I say affected, it's not a positive or negative connotation. Technology could either be a boon or a bane. It all depends on how this is being adopted, how technology is being leveraged by humans, what is the kind of research, what is the impetus given by the different regulatory bodies. And that is the whole purpose of strong and strict regulations and guidelines by the respective governments, the ICMR of India, or FDA of US, or EMA of Europe. These are the regulatory bodies who make sure, who ensures that these technologies, these advancements are not overlooked and does not possess a serious threat to the human race. With that being said, I really hope that I be a part of this conference where I am able to learn from all of you and see how these different smart systems, technologies are being leveraged in different spheres of our life, and how these are being leveraged in different ways, and how can we go from using and leveraging some of these technologies to actually adopting the technologies for the betterment of our human race. Thank you so much, and I really thank all the dignitaries and respected principal sir, vice principal sir, HODs, and all the other participants for organizing this conference and having me as a part of learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We are so privileged to hear from you. Thanks for letting us know how to equip ourselves to face the evolving technologies in future, and to be cautious on how these technology change our day-to-day lives. On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we would like to express our gratitude by felicitating you with a virtual memento as a token of appreciation. We request you to kindly accept our heartfelt appreciation, sir.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful session from you. I now request Ms. I. Nancy Catherine, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, to introduce our guest, Dr. Mohammad Mahdi Hassani Satrabadi, Assistant Project Scientist, Department of Bioengineering, Henry Samueli School of Engineering, University of California, Los Angeles. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Chitra ma'am. I take the privilege of introducing our guest of the day, Dr. Mohammad Mahi Hassani, received his second PhD in bioengineering from Georgia Institute of Technology in December 2017, where he developed microfluidic platforms to synthesize cancer nanomedicine. Dr. Mohammed is a very productive scientist and has won numerous professional awards, including Khwarizmi Young Investigator Award in Fundamental Researches, Applied Research, and Innovation. He is also a winner of Sigma Xi Best PhD, and he has won Thesis Award and honorary membership and received Outstanding Bioengineering PhD Thesis Award. He also won Image of the Year Award from Southern California Society for Microscopy and Microanalysis, Joseph Wang Nanoscience Award as an outstanding young researcher in the field of nanomaterials, ACS Cell Division Award, and ECS Summer Fellowship Award, and IE and EE ECS Student Achievement Award, Grand Prize winner of Dr. Baker Award for Fuel Cell Research, National Scientific Prize for Elites, Iran, Gold Medal in Invention, Seoul, Korea, and International Federation of Inventors Association Top Inventor Award. In 2018, he was selected to be an early career editorial board member of ACS Biomaterial Science and Engineering Journal, American Chemical Society's flagship journal in biomaterials. In 2018, he became an assistant project scientist at UCLA Bioengineering, developing novel biomaterials for immunoengineering for cancer and infectious disease therapy. Over the last decade, he has been trained in over 10 research labs in several countries, which resulted in publishing over 80 journal papers with H-index of 30. His works also resulted in 11 US patent applications. Yes, we are very happy to have you with us, sir. Now, I would request you to deliver the keynote address. Please, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here. Good morning. It's the night here. We are like still in the 22nd of July, but I guess you are just started the day. It's my great pleasure to be here and present part of my recent research to kind of to show how a material engineer and bioscientists can leverage engineering the systems by by trying to mimic the smart functions that you can find in the nature. As I will go through some of our recent progress, and I hope my talk kind of initiate some international collaboration. It's my great pleasure to be here and present part of my research. So I had a kind of a very prolonged and but joyful journey through starting from the polymer engineering, going through the biotechnology, reaching to cancer immunology, and ending up in working on immunoengineering for infectious disease. So I can categorize my field of research in three main fields, which first is nano energy, when we develop the materials for kind of the high performance renewable energy devices like fuel cell application. The second part was our approach to make better cancer nanomedicine, and the third part, which is the more like a recent part of our research, is to develop materials for regenerative medicine and tissue engineering, which I will talk about some of our approaches today. So when we so I think as we are facing this COVID situation, all of us can appreciate the role of immune system, how it can help fighting the disease, like a COVID-19 or cancer or other kind of the life-threatening disease. So when we are talking about immune system, we are kind of relying on the role of particular cells, which most of them are kind of classified as lymphocyte, and the T cells are one of the main players in that game. There are different cells that they are playing their goals. As you can see in the right side, video. This is the video that kind of the caused in the Nobel Prize in 2014. That they kind of they could capture the live live movement of the cells when they these the cells in the red are the T cells. They are engaging the cancer cell in blue. So we were very excited by the efficiency of these cells, and we wanted to to do more to see how we can we use these cells and how we can engineer these cells to do better. So we are working on this kind of the immune cells to generate a better therapy. Also, we are trying to develop better materials as a way to deliver stem cells, the cells that can create different parts of the body. And in a way, we were able to kind of combine these two tools to provide and offer next generation therapies. And today, for today's talk, I'm going to kind of to talk you through or one of my interesting recent areas that we try to generate these immune cells, the T cells, in the lab. So we use the macrofluidic platform, which is a very versatile platform that you can have a very precise control over formation of the droplets. So we make these these particles. We can easily control the size of the particles, and we can change the materials that can form these particles. So in the lower panel, you can see the image of the macroscope image of the actual T cells, and you can see the size of the naive or resting cells or the activated cells. They are kind of getting bigger when they getting activated through the meeting the pathogens or something like that. So we were able to kind of mimic their size and and make a very monodispersed particles that can mimic their size and shape. Then through conjugating the surface of these particles through using the biomolecules, we were able to mimic the surface, the protein, the protein population, protein decoration of these particles. So we have something that look like the T cells, and they have the same surface representation. But one of the other very specific features of these cells is that they are pretty soft. So they can they can penetrate through different tissues. They can find the pathogens wherever they are hiding. So we were able to kind of play with the chemistry of these particles to mimic their these the mechanical properties or the stiffness of these particles. So we generated a library of the particles that we can kind of select which one we wanted to work. Then we have shown that these particles can kind of squeeze and pass through very tiny channels, and as their kind of the natural version can. So as you can see, we are just trying to we have a template which is super smart, which is super functional, and we are trying our best to mimic their features as much as we can. So this we could offer the cells that can squeeze and pass through the channels. But the thing is that the cells are living creatures. They can sense the gradient of something, and they can migrate through there. But we couldn't do that, so we added some trick. So we added some small nanoparticles which have the magnetic properties. So through encapsulation of these nanoparticles through or T cell mimicking particles, we were able to add the thing called the magnetotaxy. So when we add the magnet, the particles will the particles can squeeze, for example, through very small pores and accumulate and migrate toward or target source. So just assume when we inject this particle through the body, through the MRI or other kind of the local magnetic manipulation, we can call the cell, can call the particles to be there and be effective there. these particles can be loaded with different kind of therapeutic, protein therapeutic or small molecule therapeutics, so they can have a sustained and a controlled release of those cargoes. Also, as they have this kind of the magnetic particles in them, through through triggering through this permanent or alternative magnet, we can squeeze them shortly so they will release their cargo faster. So this is a way that we can control over the release, which is called stimuli responsive properties. So we were able to show that these cells are not just some useless thing. They can communicate with actual cells, and these cells can be used in the labs. One of the main reasons that we try to make these cells is that every time that we want to do some a drug screening or to see or materials or approach is going to affect immune cells adverse in unwanted way, we need to sacrifice animal. We need to remove the spleen and lymph node and kind of extract these T cells. So we thought that okay, if or particles can mimic the main feature of those cells, instead of the kind of the losing that many animals, so we can just mass produce our particles. So as a smart a smart version, a smart copy of those natural cells, we can use this thing to do some of our screening and just kind of reduce the use of animal. So this kind of this work published a few years ago, and kind of is called one of the breakthrough in that year. But that was the thing that we did in kind of a few years ago, but we weren't stuck on there. So let's say we make the particle that is a very kind of similar to cells in terms of the bulk properties, but we wanted to make it more and more similar to actual cells. So the version that I have shown you is that they have some conjugated particles, conjugated proteins on the surface, so it will mimic some of the features of the actual cells. But we wanted to make it more realistic. So we thought that okay, we can use actual cell membrane and just cover them over these particles. So in this area, in this subject, so we kind of we started from some cells, let's say B cells or T cells. We unskin these cells, and then we coated our particles with this membrane. So this membrane doesn't have just the one or two surface markers. They have all the surface markers that you can find on the real cells. But these cells can be stored forever, at least for a few years, and you don't have any issue, any concern about effectiveness of these cells when you are using it today or in few months. So we are thinking about increasing the reproducibility of the experiment, and also reducing the use of animal use. So, and you can see, here, this is not a Mickey Mouse. Yeah, we are in LA near the closed Disneyland, but this is not a Mickey Mouse. It's just showing our artificial cells how interact with the actual real T cells. So, and these things that you can see at the interface is called immune synapse. When they are active, when the cell actively getting engaged, they will have a hug, and that hug can be kind of image, and that is a proof of concept that okay, these things are actually working, and these cells can interact very strongly with the cells. The other thing that we added to the story was that okay, so we have some particles that look like T cells in terms of the mechanical properties, and it has a similar surface properties. But these cells are not living. So if you want something to be delivered through using these cells, you need to load them inside so they can release it over time. But we thought that there are some ways that we can add the protein fabrication to these synthetic particles. And that would be very, very promising, because instead of the loading the proteins, you can generate the protein at the site of action, and it will reduce lots of the side effects that is a issue with lots of therapeutics. So in order to do that, we again went back and used our macrofluidic platforms to make some nanoparticles out of the lipids, and these particles have all the essential components for protein expression. But they are stopped. They are capped. They are caged. And upon use of the UV or laser, we can uncage or unmask this reaction, and then we will have the protein expression. So the idea is to have these particles. These particles can be used for a screening of the lots of the therapies in the lab, or in the actual clinical preclinical trials. But these particles can do more than that. These particles are active. They can sense their environment. They can get the stimulation, and they can respond by producing producing some proteins, or by changing their mechanical properties, or by just kind of interacting with the surrounding cells. So by this, by this I want to close my talk, and just acknowledge our collaborators through different universities and or funding resources. I don't think it's a active question and answer. If you have active question and answer section, but then I would be happy to be in touch through emails or other platforms if there's any question.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us on engineered artificial cells. Really, it was an informative session and gave us a deep insight about smart functionals, biostructures. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we would like to express our gratitude by felicitating you with the virtual memento as a token of appreciation. We request you to kindly accept our heartfelt appreciation. Please, sir.
Thank you so much. It's my great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
We now present a short AV of our ICCSS 2020. Sit back and enjoy. I would now like to invite Dr. A. Anita Juliet, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, to give a glimpse about the 7th IEEE International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems. Ma'am, please.
Everyone. It's my pleasure to share a glimpse of our conference, ICCSS 2020,
The IEEE International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems is a premier international conference organized by the Department of ECE, Savita Engineering College, in association with IEEE Student Chapter and IETE Student Branch. ICSS has been successfully taking place since 2012. The conference aims to bring together leading academicians, scientists, researchers, and research scholars to exchange and share their innovative ideas, experience, and research results about all aspects of engineering and technology. This conference is to identify and provide feasible solutions to meet ever-growing challenges in the field of MEMS, nanosystems, artificial intelligence, system on chip, network on chip, soft computing, grid system, sensor network, image and signal processing. ICSS plays a major role in meeting the demands of modern industrial world that seeks continuous improvement in performance by miniaturization. Taking place for 2 days on a virtual mode, ICSS 2020 features plenary and invited talks by eminent scientists and engineers, along with paper presentations from various people from all over the world. Invited speakers have discussed and will discuss about the latest developments on advancing technology on smart systems. I wish the participants to make use of this forum for their future growth and for the purpose of research. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I request Ms. S. Chitra, Assistant Professor, AC Department, to introduce our guest, Dr. N. Kumarappan, Professor, EEE Department, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Annamalai University, Chairman, IEEE Madras Section. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to introduce our renowned speaker. Dr. N. Kumarappan received the graduate degree from Madurai Kamaraj University, Tamil Nadu, India in 1982, the postgraduate degree from Annamalai University, India in 1989, and the PhD degree from CEG Anna University, Tamil Nadu, India in 2004, under QIP Fellowship AICTE, India. He is currently a professor with the Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Annamalai University. He is having 31 years of experience to his credit as an educator and researcher. He has published more than 129 international journal and conference papers. International Journal Papers 44, IEEE Digital Library 36, International Conference 65, and National Conference 9. According to Google Scholar, his citation is 917, H index 16. His current research interests include power system operation and control, electricity price forecasting, EHV transmission fault diagnosis, FACTS devices, power system reliability, smart grid artificial intelligence techniques, microgrid, distributed generation, and smart grids. Dr. Kumarappan is a life fellow of the Institution of Engineers India and a life member of the Indian Society of Technical Education. He's an IEEE Madras Section Chairman, IEEE CIS Madras Chapter Chair, and a coordinator for more than 100 IEEE Madras Section organized FTP, workshop, and TISP programs. He was a recipient of the IEEE Madras Section Motivation Award in 2010 and the Certificate of Appreciation in 2012. Third rank in the chapter activities 2015. He was the organizer of a special session in IEEE WCCI 2000 in Spain, IEEE WCCI 2016 Canada, and IEEE WCCI 2018 Brazil. He's a speaker, reviewer, and session chair for IEEE IET UK international conferences and other international journals. He was the outstanding reviewer for the Elsevier International Journal of Electrical Power and Energy Systems 2015. He was a recipient of the IEEE NNS Outstanding Paper Travel Grant Award Australia 2002, IEEE WCCI Outstanding Paper Travel Grant Award Canada 2016, and IEEE PES Student Program Award USA 2003, and IEEE CIS Madras Chapter Best Chapter Award 2017. He was also a recipient of the Best Researcher Award, Annamalai University 2018. We are very happy to have you with us today, sir. We now request you to deliver the keynote speech. Over to you, sir.
Respected authorities of Savita Engineering College and beloved organizers of this international conference, dear delegates of this conference, and the speakers, the keynote speakers from different countries. Good morning to one and all. To introduce, based on your theme of the conference, it is smart structure and system related to the electrical engineering and as well as the communication engineering. It is to introduce a smart system to you, that is smart grid to you. Now the present day, according to the present day scenario, the interdisciplinary is essential. Due to the interdisciplinary approach now we are moving, it is necessary to learn even two kind of degrees. That's called dual degree. But once they got a dual degree, they can utilize two different of a field together. That may be very effective once we introduce a smart grid. Now I start from the history of the grids. Initially, there is a fight between the scientists, which kind of a grid to be formed, for whether the AC grid or DC grid. Finally, they decided AC grid is one of the best. The reason is generation of power is only by AC. Then they decided AC. At that stage, it's not possible for them to decide DC grid. The reason is it's very costly. But now it is not so. This scenario going on changing. Therefore, once we introduce the AC grid, then they think about the DC. Then the DC wise, they developed a lot. Nowadays, the cost also reduced. By the range of transmission voltage wise, we can boldly say we are one of the developed countries. In India, the range of the voltage wise, it starts from 400 till 400, it is in high voltage engineering. 400 to 765, it is an extra high voltage transmission. 765 to 1200, ultra high voltage transmission. Therefore, even the ultra high voltage level in India, it's already erected. Not only that, the DC transmission wise, we reached the level of 800 kV. For that level also we reached. Therefore, from that we understand the range of the voltage of transmission wise, we are one of the developed country. And from that, it is very clear picture. What is today's kind of grid? It is a AC DC grid. But today's grid is AC DC grid. It mixed with both. We are in a position to manage both. Therefore, beyond all this, there is a plenty of grids are going on developing. One of the grid is called microgrid. Why it is named as a microgrid? For example, electronically, when you realize a milliampere, when you realize micro, now we are moving on to the next technology, nano. That is the development of electronics. Most of them think that electronics dominates the world. No doubt about it. But it is equally the electrical also develops. That's a very important thing. The popularity is more on electronics because of the lowest range of the current, milli, micro, nano. Because of that one, it's become very popular. It becomes like a toy. But it is electrical till now. It is, we always look out, it's a dangerous one. It must be protective. Therefore, once we look out in such a direction, why we use the word micro in the microgrid? Therefore, previously, you look out what kind of a power they produce only in megawatts. To produce a megawatt, particularly in India, we require giants like Tata, Birla, Reliance. But it is not, nowadays it is not so. Anybody can produce a power in the range of a kilowatts. That's why it's called micro. Therefore, once you start with produce a micro level, it is becomes a kilowatt. Therefore, now the question is, here afterwards, you can't depend on the government. They never give the power in future. So you have to meet with the power by yourself. If it is an education institution or industrial institution, they have to meet with the power by themselves. Therefore, that is a present day scenario. Therefore, even you form the microgrid, you can operate in isolated mode, otherwise in the grid connected mode. Which kind of a mode you want, you can use it. That is advantage for microgrid. Once you look at a microgrid, the violation of the voltage frequency all to be taken care of, then only we can manage the isolated mode very well. Therefore, the microgrid is the present scenario, number of ways we are using it. Beyond all this, in the power engineering side, one more thing is power system restructuring. There is two kind of fields are going on developing. One is power system restructuring, other one is smart grid. According to the 2003 Electricity Act of India, it is must implement the power system restructuring. What do you mean by power system restructuring? Even you can bid the power in the market. That is the aim of that. Therefore, they unbundle or restructure, otherwise deregulate as Genco, Transco, Disco. Now, particularly in our state, Tamil Nadu, we unbundle as Tangentco and Disco, only two. Therefore, from this, we can bid the power. Here also, interdisciplinary plays a role. You require a management as well as electrical engineering, together with even the communication engineering. Therefore, to form the power system, therefore already the power system restructuring are implemented. It is in the testing stage in India, and abroad it is successfully tested. But smart grid, till now, it is not introduced in India. What do you mean by smart grid? The smart grid it involves plenty of things. It is not like, therefore, first, only the power flow is added. Because the power system restructuring, second flow is added. But now we're moving on to the smart grid. The third flow is added. That's called communication. Therefore, we have to make it through a bidirectional way of things. The communication by bidirectionally, where there is excess power. What do you mean by smartness? Making the energy management in the best way. For example, you enter inside the classroom, all the lights are on. Once you go out of the class, all the lights are off. That's called smartness. The same smartness, make it on the grid. That is smart grid. So nothing but an energy management. Where there is an excess power, you can take it from there. For example, we make it as a river, as a nationalized river. So what is the concept of that? Where there is an excess water that is to be supplied, where that the water may not be available. But the same kind of a concept for this also. Now we are in India, they are trying to make a nationalized grid. Similarly, they in smart grid also only in the starting stage. To do a smart grid, what kind of a technologies are exactly required? We require a bidirectional flow, kind of a communication. Communication people easily they make it. They involve ICT, they can introduce such a kind of a technology very easily. But not only this is required. Therefore, even you require a transmission. Nowadays, the transmission is only one side flow. Therefore, only one directional flow, but you require a bidirectional flow. Though to make the bidirectional flow of a transmission line throughout the line, you require the present engineering to be done as in re-engineering. Then only you can realize the smart grid. Otherwise, it's not possible. From that, we understand we require a big team of electrical engineering and communication engineering people to make the grid as smart. But once you make the grid as smart, you can realize once your grid is a nationalized one, and together with the smartness, therefore the power cut and everything all to be eliminated. In future, no doubt about it, we require plenty of power. Even the pandemic situation, we are managing with the power. Therefore, without a power, what are all now we are virtually doing, it is not at all possible. Therefore, from that we understand we have to give much importance on this line to make the smart grid as smart and more smarter. Therefore, you require plenty of people in the communication side as well as in the electrical engineering side. Beyond all this, there is one more grid that's called super grid. What do you mean by super grid? The super grid is there is an access from other continent. You can take the power from that one continent to other continent. You make it such a kind of a grid that's called super grid. Therefore, I introduce all kind of a grid to you. Therefore, now it is up to you to implement those kind of a technology, make it as interdisciplinary. Particularly the smart grid, you want to realize a smart grid, we require a smart meters, number of technologies. And beyond all this, there is a different kind of a DGs, distributed generations are required. What do you mean by distributed generations? Nowadays, the generation stations are located nearer to the transmission network. In future, all the generating stations are located nearer to the load, that is in the distribution network. That's what's called distributed generation. Nowadays, present day, we require to produce a green energy. Therefore, we always produce renewable energies. All the renewable energies are located nearer to the load. Once you do it, you can produce a kilowatt of power, all become a one of power producers. Therefore, once you do it, mean that kind of a generation called as a distributed generation. That also involves in the smart grids. To make it smart grid as a smarter. Therefore, this distribution generator also to be introduced in the location of distribution network. Therefore, once you do all this, you get a smart grid, and that may be your team conveys something related to your team. Therefore, here in this conference, there is a plenty of avenues for the research in the smart grid, including with the communication technologies. Therefore, it is open to you and involve and do plenty of research on that. Now I have a duty of as a IEEE Madras section. But now we are moving on to organize the conference virtually. This may be our IEEE Madras section's second virtual conference. The first virtual conference already inaugurated. This is the second virtual conference of IEEE Madras section. Now, some of the things to be conveyed to the participant of this conference. Now, because of this virtual conference, now the registration fee is reduced, and the reduced registration fee is displayed on the respective websites. And not only that, recorded presentations are already reviewed by each and every participants, particularly from the athletes. And they use a Zoom platform for this. These are all the norms required to organize a virtual conference. Always mind it, IEEE only publishes the selected papers. Again and again, I repeat, IEEE Digital Library only appears a selected paper. Some of them conveying all the papers that appears in the IEEE Digital Library. It is not so. Only based on the review, already they reviewed, done a good review and selected only very few papers. Not only that to be limited. Now the sessions are going, there is by the different kind of charts are maybe handle those sessions. Through the sessions, they give some kind of a comments. Please carry out that comment also on your paper. Finally, send those kind of a paper to the IEEE Explorer Library. And that too, selected papers. Always keep it in mind. Please make a note of that, all authors. Only selected paper appears on the digital library. Now, for this technical course sponsorship, till now, for 2020, they're paying $20,000 to their $1,000 to their quarters. And that is going to be changed the coming year as $1,450. And to make you as a processing fee, don't think that it is not an uploading fee. It is only the processing fee per paper is $15. Now that is going to be changed 2021 as $22. Always keep it in mind. They are checking the quality of your paper by number of layers, and then only they publish in the IEEE Digital Library. And therefore, this is only a technical course sponsorship. IEEE Madras section also helping to make you a technical course sponsorship with these people. And therefore, those who are present here, I wish you all the best to appear your paper on the IEEE Digital Library and therefore, to make you to motivate those you are participating as a delegate. Now I got the chance of participating in different kind of conferences. First, I got the chance when I was doing my research. That is Congress on, I participated and as well as presented a paper, the Congress on Evolutionary Computation that is held at Sydney, Australia in 2002. That is my first continent visit, that is Australia. There I got the chance of presenting my research paper when I was doing my research under the Quality Improvement Program at College of Engineering, Guindy. Next, I got the chance of participating World Congress on Computation Intelligence, Barcelona, Spain, Europe. That is my second continent visit. There I organized one session for power system as well as presented a paper in that conference. For that, I received Outstanding Paper Travel Grant Award. Next, I got the chance of participating Symposium Series on Computation Intelligence, Singapore in 2015. That is the third continent, that is Asia. There also I got the chance of chairing and presenting a paper. And next one is World Congress on Computation Intelligence, that is held at Vancouver, Canada. That is 2016, North America. That is a fourth continent visit. There also I got the chance of organizing a session on the power system and also chair a session. Therefore, and also present a paper. Therefore, next one is I got the chance of participating in World Congress on Computation Intelligence, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 2016, 2018. There also I organized a session and presented a paper. Not only that, I delivered a talk. Therefore, now the next conference is going on virtually. For the first time, it is going on virtually. It started on July 19th. Today is 23rd. It's going on. Tomorrow only the last date. That is World Congress on Computation Intelligence. They organize very well. Around 2,000 papers appears on that conference. Now I'm going to chair again, organize one session on that. I'm going to chair a session today night at 10:50. And not only that, as a computation intelligence chair, I got the chance of receiving a Best Chapter Award in International Joint Neural Network Conference at 2017, Anchorage, Alaska, USA. Therefore, at that, Anchorage, Alaska is an interesting place to visit. Therefore, there is a plenty of additional thing compared to all other places. And beyond all this, I got the chance of finally to participate in the Section Congress. That is a topmost Congress in IEEE. Therefore, that is to be I'm mentioning this Section Congress in everywhere in wherever I talk. With the Section Congress, I got the chance of participating in Amsterdam, Netherlands in 2014. There is a separate ceremony, it's called as honoring ceremony. In that honoring ceremony, there is a topmost honor is Medal of Honor. At that time, 2014, the Medal of Honor is received by one of the Indian origin scientists. His name is Jayant Palika. He is received for the invention of IGPT. And not only that, and for the activities, one of them received award from Karnataka. His name is Mr. Ramesh Godali. To participate in such a kind of honoring ceremony, I feel like participating in Oscar Award, otherwise Grammy Awards. But anyway, anybody can reach such a kind of a level. But there is a different kind of a levels you can achieve in the life. Presenting a paper like this kind of a conference, one type of contribution. Next is such a delta contribution added to number of delta contribution together to get a big PhD. Next level, you get a patent. Even the lifetime, one IEEE patent is an important thing to get technically make a contribution. Not only it acts as a patent, it earned for you. The third one is to become editor-in-chief of any one of the IEEE transaction or journal. You immediately answer, it's not possible for an Indian, it's possible for only for an Indian origin. It is not so. Therefore, an Indian with us, he is the editor-in-chief of journal, is working in Indian Statistical Institute. He is the editor-in-chief of transactional fuzzy logic. His name is Dr. Nikhil Pal. Therefore, next level is to become a fellow of IEEE. IEEE Madras section got the credit of 5 or 6 fellows, most of them only from IEEE, only from IIT Madras. Only VIT at the time, VIT, he was a Vice Chancellor, Dr. D.P. Gothari. He was Vice Chancellor at that time. That's why IEEE Madras section got the credit. There were around 6 of them only in IEEE Madras section as a fellow. But that is the next level. The next level of making a technical contribution is to get a Nobel Prize. Therefore, to get a Nobel Prize, born intelligence is not required. And as an Indian, we got the Nobel Prize long back, 1930, by Sir C.V. Raman. We recognized by internationally as an intellectual in 1930 itself. Now that is going on reducing. But anyway, for economics, Sen got the Nobel Prize. For literature, Dr. Tagore got the Nobel Prize. But why we are lagging? We have a less number of state-of-art laboratories in India. Once you develop such a kind of a laboratories, you can easily achieve. For example, Chidambaram Bondman is a Venkatraman Ramakrishnan. He received the Nobel Prize for chemistry. He is an Indian origin. He is having a separate state-of-art laboratory for molecular biology. That's why he got the Nobel Prize. They would always think about such a kind of a thing and try to form a state-of-art laboratory in India. You can easily get the Nobel Prize. Then when I listed a number of things, technically what level you want to achieve, you choose it, and finally which one is left out in the world. Only your name, not your degree, nothing. Once you have a look of the radio, you can recognize the Marconi. Once you have the look of the flights, you can recognize Wright brothers. But such a way only you recognize. I wish you all the best to achieve such a kind of a level. Before concluding, அமைதியை அள்ளி தந்தது சூழலுக்கு முன், ஆரோக்கியத்தை என்றும் தரட்டும் இச்சூழலுக்கு பின். அன்பையும் அரவணைப்பையும் கற்று தந்தது சூழலுக்கு முன், அதனால் விளையும் கனியை ருசிக்கட்டும் சூழலுக்கு பின். நடக்கக்கூடாததை நடத்தி காட்டியது சூழலுக்கு பின், அதன் விளைவுகளையும் வினைகளையும் நடக்க விடாமல் தடுக்கட்டும் இன்னலுக்கு பின். கல்வியும் கருத்தரங்கமும் நீங்கள் தேடி சென்றது இன்னலுக்கு முன், கருத்தரங்கமும் கல்வியும் உங்கள் வீட்டை தேடி வருவது இன்னலுக்கு பின். சென்னை குழுமத்தின் 2வது மெய்நிகர் கருத்தரங்கம். சிறப்பும் சீரும் சேர்க்கும் அல்ல கல்லூரி. சூழலும் சூழலையும் மாறுபட்டாலும் நம்பிக்கை ஒன்றே வாழ்வின் வித்து. இக்கருத்தரங்கம் வளமும் நலமும் வாழ்வில் சேர்க்க அது மின்னியல், மின்னணுவியல், கணினியல் குழுமத்துக்கு சொத்தாக வாழ்த்துக்கள். கருத்தரங்கத்தில் பங்கு பெற்றோர் பயன்பெறவும், சூழல் இன்னல்களிலிருந்து மீண்டு வரவும் வாழ்த்துக்கள். வாய்ப்புக்கு நன்றி. Thanks for the opportunity given by this college. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. It was actually an honor for us to have you with us today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us on AC grids, DC grids, and microgrids, and also emphasizing the fact that electronics and electrical domains, they dominate the world, and also the importance of re-engineering to become smarter. It was also a great source of motivation you provided us to reach greater heights technically. On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we would like to express our gratitude by felicitating you with a virtual memento as a token of appreciation. We kindly request you to accept our heartfelt appreciation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra ma'am. Now I request Ms. J.C. Elizabeth, Assistant Professor, EC Department, to introduce our guest, Dr. Kaushik Guha, Assistant Professor, Department of EC and Associate Dean of Students' Welfare in NIT Silchar, National Institute of Technology, Silchar. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to introduce our chief guest. Dr. Kaushik Guha is an optimistic researcher and Assistant Professor, Grade 1 in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, National Institute of Technology. He has sound knowledge in MEMS and NEMS, VLSI system design, analog circuit design, and VLSI. He is great leader and team worker, leading successfully his department from long 10 years. He is now an Associate Dean of Students' Welfare in NIT Silchar. He has established and has been running National MEMS Design Center with an uplifted passion. His profound interest towards MEMS designing has made him as one of the leading researchers, not only in NIT Silchar, but in the country with research articles in highly reputed journals. He has published more than 70 journal papers in IEEE, Springer, Elsevier, etc., and 60 conference papers in national and international conferences. Dr. Guha is a senior member of IEEE and is a member of many professional bodies like IEEE, SCCI, FOSET, IIAM, etc. He has been an active and regular reviewer of SEI, SCIE journals and various IEEE hosted sponsored conferences since 2015. Teaching is heart of Dr. Guha. He deals classes with exceptional sincerity and motivation. Dr. Guha believes that students are builders of next world-class technology. He has received number of awards like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Reformer Award 2018, Outstanding Faculty in Engineering under FIFA 2018, INAC Research Excellence Award 2020, INAC Young Achievers Award 2020, to name a few. Dr. Guha has bagged a number of R&D projects from various government organizations like Special Manpower Development Project from MeitY Government of India. He has delivered many lectures in conferences, seminars, FDPs, and training programs. He is currently supervising 8 PhD scholars in the field of MEMS and VLSI. His current research interest includes mimicking human body functions using MEMS technology, RF MEMS, biomems, MEMS energy harvesting, design and development of smart sensors for IoT, VLSI design and optimization. I'm very glad to invite you, sir. Now I request Dr. Kaushik Guha, sir, to take the keynote address. Sir, please take over the session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for the nice introduction. And it's my great privilege and honor to be in this platform. Now the world is actually suffering a lot due to this pandemic, but that is the one good thing that nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop the academic community, the research and scientist community to make the things and to build the innovative things and the technology. So I want to congratulate the whole organizing team of this conference, and special thanks to Professor Sunil that so we have been exchanging some ideas, so how to collaborate and how to work together. So and also the participants who will join in this conference will deliver their talks. So obviously, so they will exchange their ideas. So conference is not only a paper presentation; it is also the meeting platform. But now in this, due to this pandemic situation, we could not meet together, but virtually also we can meet with all of us. And I also want to very actually thankful to the all the respected keynote speakers that present over this virtual platform from the different countries. So I'm starting. So from the uh, good morning to all of you, or good afternoon, or it may be good evening for the different parts of the world. So so now actually in this context, the today's actually situation, in this context, this conference, this IEEE, the conference on the smart structures and systems are very, very relevant and pertinent. Because the whole globe is now busy fighting the menace of the novel coronavirus. As we know, the death tolls are mounting, sending shockwaves to the public, healthcare officials and establishments of all types all over the world. Concerns over personal hygiene and measures like social distancing are continuously being given a push to stop the spread of this disease. New and innovative means of limiting the virus in its tracks are widely being discussed upon across the tech circles nowadays through all the virtual meetings and conferences, webinars, this type of virtual meetings. This is how all kinds of contactless tech solutions to fill the daily needs of people are getting actually in focus. So in this context, the role of this conference, the on the or the smart systems and the smart structures are going to have a very, very uh, it is going to boost the young generation of our country and as well as in the other countries also to make a world more smarter, more intelligent. So now today we are talking about the smart structures and the smart system. So what is actually basically mean the smart system? Because our previous speaker, the Honorable Dr. Kumarappan. So he has nicely elaborated the smart structures and systems in the electrical point of view. The smart grid is one of the best example nowadays how the smart systems are coming into the picture. So I will lightly touch upon the electronics point of view and the MEMS kind of technology, how the MEMS technology actually will help to make this type of the make a pivotal role in establishing the smart structures and the smart systems. So the smart systems, obviously the systems will be comprising of the three main things. One will be the sensors, second one will be the processing, and third one will be the actuation. So if we integrate these three uh, aspects or the three blocks in a single system, then and then only it can be called as a smart system, because sensors will be very useful to sense the data from physical environment. It may be in any form like temperature or any humidity, any pressure, acceleration. Nowadays we know everything can be sensed, but not only the sensor job is actually only the sensing this data, because after sensing the data we have to process it, and in processing there is a big role of electronic circuits and microelectronics. So the microelectronic circuits and IC will process the signal. After this sensing and processing, something we need to work upon, otherwise there will be no output of the system. So that output will be taken care of by the actuator. So something has to be moved, something has to be pulled out or pulled off, or something has to work has to be done. So these three will comprise a smart system. So obviously the first thing that will come upon in the smart system parameter, that is the sensor. So the smart, actually the sensors are nowadays are actually embedded into our day-to-day life, and in the coming days also it is coming. The we will see all around the more the sensors, and billions of sensors will be interconnected around us, and that will be called the IoT, Internet of Things, and also the Internet of many things. So in the IoT, the main actually parameter and main building block is the sensor. So for the sensors actually will gather the information, like the best example I can tell you, like the smart houses. Nowadays people are working on the smart houses, and all the students are obviously very fond of doing the research on the smart houses. So the houses, in sitting on the chair from the office, I can control the our house appliances, like our ACs, like our tube lights and TVs and refrigerators, everything. So the all the sensors will be integrated into the smart houses. Then also, not only that, we can also monitor the air quality, the humidity level, the temperature level, the wind velocity level. Everything can be sensed by pushing a button on your mobile phone or on a remote control. So similarly, the smart office are also coming to our community. The smart offices, you can see everything will be smart, and also the smart cities are gaining actually very boost. Lot of investments are also being done on these smart city applications. Where the smart city, you can see the all the people movement, the location will be tracked. So the air quality will be monitored always in the smart city, and if something goes wrong, then the alarm will come out and the necessary actions will be taken. And now in this pandemic situation, it will be more relevant, because in the coronavirus, so people are telling about the social distancing and the temperature screening. So if you adopt the smart technology, then also use the contactless technology to measure the people temperature, the people that who are passing by some buildings, or who are coming to the offices, or who are roaming into the cities. So you can just screen the temperature remotely, and you can see their body temperature level. And also the some of the universities and also in the country, they are adopted the connected thermometer technologies. From the connected thermometer technologies that we have seen, that we can easily predict the temperature of the patients in any hospitals or any nursing homes, that so that you can have some early alert type of system, so the temperature is rising on that level, and so that you can take the necessary actions. Similarly, some of the apps and smart technologies are coming also to contain the spread of COVID by applying the social distancing norms. So the social distancing can also be tracked. So suppose if you have a smart device in your pocket, maybe your mobile phones also, so that you can also easily, your mobile phone can also tell you easily that you are nearby with some other people who is infected with the COVID, or whose body temperature or basal body temperature may be crossing the limit, so that you can take the precautions. So this type of technologies are not a new, it is coming. Now the days of today's, all of us were listening so many webinars, and from that webinars and research articles, we came to know that the nowadays also the hearables, the wearables, this type of devices are coming, this type of technologies. So wearables means very smart, tiny, small type of any patch. It can be in your wristwatch, it can be integrated on the clothes also, it can be also embedded on the jewelries of the ladies. So just with the help of this type of wearable devices, you can we can monitor our body function, we can monitor the glucose level, the BMI, we can monitor the temperature, we can monitor any imbalance in our health. So this is going to boom actually, and a lot of students and research scholars are working on this platform. Similarly, in our country also, all the engineering institutes, the IITs and also the NITs are taking part in this role. How to contain this COVID-19 by making some innovative technologies. So similarly, in other engineering colleges, I'm sure that in our country also they are doing a great thing to contain, because they are inventions that we have actually came to this from the internet sources and from other institutes, that also because we are connected with everybody. So somebody is developing a good the sanitization chamber, somebody is developing a good sanitization tunnel or some kind of UVC boxes, so that the when the students will come to the hostels after this pandemic situation, so everything can be. So we are also planning in United States this kind of technology, that when we'll call the students, then will come, so their bags and backpacks and every belongings can be scanned and can be also disinfected by within a short time. So this type of technology, because this situation is like that, this situation is undoubtedly a very bad situation for all of us. We are facing an unprecedented loss actually. It has very big impact on our education, society and economy. But in spite of that, keeping aside all these bads, also this situation has enabled us. This situation has enabled us to do and to innovate something new that can contain the spread of these deadly diseases. So the innovation is the key success. When no one actually is going to help, when nothing is coming as a fruitful, then only the way is the innovation. From this virtual platform, actually, suppose if this conference was happened physically, then it might not be possible to meet all the delegates in the same platform, because due to there are some constraints, some travel constraints, maybe there are some timing. But due to this virtual platform only, actually we could meet with each other. So just sitting on your home or office, we can talk something, we can interact with the students and the participants. This is also one of the good side. This is also one of the good side for our country, that also India is now also doing some innovative ideas and also doing excels in the digital platform, because now everything the online goes online. Our teaching system are slowly transforming from offline to the online. We are not accustomed to very much these online systems, but now this pandemic actually, due to the situation, we are moving from the offline to the online platform. So for moving to the online platform, we have to explore a new ways of deliberation, the new way of interaction with the students, the new apps, this kind of thing, or some making the good study materials to pass on the students, so that to make the easy interface between teachers and the students. This is also one of the good sign of this. So any situation, obviously it has some bad impact, but also at the same time we have to find a good of the system. Then actually we can rise and we can progress. So this is not a job of any single person. This is not a job of a single institute. This is not a job of a single country. If we can combine all together, if all the students can combine together, all the industry and academia sectors also, if we join hand together, then obviously I believe that in coming days we will make our world more smarter, more greener, and also we can contain and we can prevent any kind of diseases or any kind of wrongdoings, not only diseases, so to happen and to affect our normal life. So with this speech that I want to conclude my speech, and again before the conclusion, I want to congratulate all the delegates that will be delivering their ideas and sharing their ideas in this platform. It's a big congratulations to them, and you will learn from the conferences what are the shortcomings in your research work, so that you can incorporate into your articles in the future. And not only this, the conference does mean that okay, you will present your papers, and that it's a good interaction platform. You will make a good collaboration with the speakers and from the other institutes, and also the across the globe, not only in our country, so that in the future actually you can grow a big network. Because I am also from the IEEE background. Our institute also has a good IEEE student chapter, and I'm also involved in our day-to-day some IEEE student run chapter activities. We are organizing conferences, webinars in weekly basis. So IEEE actually promotes this networking and collaborations. So we should, even if we collaborate with each other, then we can excel. So with keeping on this mind, then I just want to conclude my speech. And again, thanks to the organizing team and for this great initiative to organize this on conference on this virtual mode during this time. So certainly from this conference, some good fruitful discussion will come out, and some technology will be coming out, so that it can be also there will be some scope for the commercialization and some kind of patenting, so that ultimately being the resident of this country, so we should also fight for this with our country, but not a single manner, by joining hands with each other. So thank you very much.
That was great, sir. We had overall insight on the scope of electronics and MEMS technology to do live tracking in our day-to-day life. And we also had how we can develop and do research for the current scenario, and how we can come out with a lot of innovative ideas and implement it. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we would like to express our gratitude by felicitating you with a virtual memento as a token of appreciation. We request you to kindly accept our heartfelt appreciation, sir.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Ms. I. Nancy Catherine, Assistant Professor, Department of EC, to introduce our guest, Dr. L. Sujata, Professor, Department of EC, Rajalakshmi Engineering College, Chennai, India. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Chitra ma'am. I feel really glad to introduce our guest of the day, Dr. L. Sujata. Dr. L. Sujata has 30 years of experience in teaching and research, and currently being the head of Center of Excellence in MEMS and Microfluidics, and professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Rajalakshmi Engineering College, Chennai. Graduating with an AMIE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Institution of Engineers in 1991, she obtained her ME from Bharatiyar University in 1996. She has done her PhD and postdoctoral research in the field of microelectromechanical systems at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. She had received a Best Woman Engineer Award from Pondicherry Engineering College in the year 2007 and received Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Award for Innovative Research by Society for Engineering Education Enrichment in the year 2017. She is a life member of various technical societies such as IEI, IEEE, ISTE, IETE, and SEEE. She had visited Singapore, European countries, and USA for presenting her research works. She has established a Center of Excellence in MEMS and Microfluidics at Rajalakshmi Engineering College with sophisticated equipment and clean room facilities for in-house fabrication of micro devices. She fabricated many micro devices such as micro tweezers, micro heater, MEMS gyroscope, tri-axis accelerometer, digital microfluidics, etc. She has successfully completed 10 sponsored projects and received funding of Rs 7 crores from various funding agencies such as DRDO, DST, AERB, etc. She is very passionate on research activities on microfabrication technologies and developing chemical and biosensors. Yes, we are very happy to have you with us today, ma'am. I now request Dr. L. Sujata, ma'am, to deliver the keynote address. Please, ma'am.
Hello. Hello. Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you very much. And respected principal, respected keynote speakers of our country as well as other countries, and HODs, and the organizer, Dr. Srijita, and professors and delegates of this conference. Very good morning to all of you. This is my great pleasure to participate in this conference. I participate every year in this conference. It gives me a lot of pleasure in sharing my knowledge with the delegates. And I find that the organizing team as well as the management and principal, they are very dedicated to organize the events. And say, as being the neighboring institution, I observe the activities of the Savita Engineering College. I am very happy to note that this IEEE conference is being organized in a very successful manner every year. And this year, during this pandemic period also, it is very pleasure to see that it is being organized in the virtual mode. And the students, the faculty, and the participants from all over the country or over the globe, they're able to participate in this conference to share their knowledge and to enhance their knowledge. I thank the management of Savita as well as the organizing team for organizing such a wonderful virtual conference today. I congratulate all the participants for participating in this conference. I hope this conference will definitely give a lot of takeaways. And being a keynote speaker, I am planning to give a small technical talk on surface acoustic wave sensors. Let me share my screen so that you will be able to see the screen, the presentation. Hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So the title of my talk is Surface Acoustic Wave. We call it as SAW, Surface Acoustic Wave Sensor Technology. So we have come across a lot of what is MEMS and various MEMS devices. And this surface acoustic wave sensor is also comes under the category of MEMS sensor. And generally, the MEMS is the micro electromechanical system. And these MEMS are the tiny miniaturized sensors. And these MEMS technology-based sensors are the preferred sensors in the industries nowadays. It is becoming highly getting popularized in industries also. The advantage of going for MEMS sensors is the reliable and repeatability of these sensors. Reliability and repeatability is the first advantage. And also it has other advantages like low power requirement. Even you can use an inbuilt micro heater which requires a very low power, and it shows high sensitivity, and mass production is possible, which leads to low cost. And these MEMS structures for as a sensor, it can be used for chemical or biological sensing. And if you look at the MEMS structures for chemical or biological sensing, yeah, one second. So if you look at the MEMS structures for chemical or biological sensing, the most popular device is a micro cantilever, and the next popular device is the surface acoustic wave sensors. And these surface acoustic wave sensors are having the advantage of it is compatible with planar IC technology. You can integrate with IC technology, and also it has wide frequency range from 20 megahertz to 2 gigahertz. You can work on it, and it is responsive, and it is a rugged device, reliable device, and it is a passive device. It is not an active device, or you can say that surface acoustic wave sensors, there is no movable parts. Like if you take a micro cantilever, the cantilever has to move, and here there is no movable or released structures, and hence it is very rugged as well as reliable device. And it is you can also operate it as a wireless integration, so that it can be used in a wireless mode. So the surface acoustic wave sensors are having a lot of potential to detect wide concentration range of chemical or biological analytes with rapid response time and low power requirement. Let us see in detail in the next slides. You can see that the surface acoustic wave, where it is the surface acoustic wave device is in which the acoustic wave travels along the surface of a material. So it is a sound wave, acoustic wave, or you can say that the mechanical wave, which travels along the surface of a material. The amplitude that typically decays exponentially with the depth into the substrate. That means it travels along the surface. And when it look into the depth of the substrate, it decays exponentially. That means the travel takes place only, I can say that less than 1 micrometer on the surface. Generally, it is represented in terms of the lambda, and less than a lambda value, it travels on the surface of the substrate. So the function is it transduces the input electrical signal into mechanical wave, which is nothing but a piezoelectric property. So you have to choose a piezoelectric substrate in which an input electrical signal is given, where it is converted into a mechanical wave. And once it is converted into mechanical wave, this mechanical wave or acoustic wave can be easily influenced by any physical phenomena. That is the physical phenomena which we represent here is the analyte which you want to measure. The device then transduces this acoustic wave or mechanical wave back into an electrical signal for measurement. So the change in parameters between input and output electrical signals can be used to measure the presence of the desired phenomenon. So what are the parameters you can measure between the input electrical signal and the output electrical signal is change in amplitude. What is there any change in phase or frequency or time delay? These are the parameters you can measure, which will give you the information about the desired phenomenon, that is the physical analytes. So the piezoelectric substrate, we heard about the piezoelectric substrate. So the piezoelectric substrate, generally people, they were using monocrystalline piezoelectric material, but nowadays polycrystalline piezoelectric materials are also coming up. And this monocrystalline piezoelectric material, generally people know that quartz, lithium niobate, lithium tantalate, all these things I have mentioned here. So the piezo effect for electroacoustic transduction is an important phenomenon where the electrical signal is converted into acoustic signal, and which is affected by the analytes, either chemical or biological analytes will affect the properties of this acoustic wave. So the crystal orientation defines the surface acoustic wave properties. So when you choose the quartz or whatever the substrate, the substrate orientation will define the surface acoustic wave properties. And it gives the waves in different forms. For example, Rayleigh waves is generally being used, long waves and other types of waves are also there. And this Rayleigh waves are generally gives a very reliable output, and people are working on how to generate these Rayleigh waves. What are the orientation which will help in producing these Rayleigh waves? And the mechanical and electrical waves in the plane normal to the substrate surface is being generated by properly choosing the crystal orientation. And this phase and velocity, phase which is being measured, there is phase velocity or the amplitude of the signal is being measured, which so this depends on the material properties. What is the here the I am talking about the material is the what is the sensing material you are using. The sensing material will absorb the chemical analytes or biological analytes, and then it will give based on the concentration of the analyte. There will be some changes which takes place on this sensing material, which can be an elastic property or piezoelectric property, dielectric property, or conductivity or mass of the substrate will change. And this change is again measured in terms of the phase velocity or amplitude of the output signal. So the sensing achieved when material properties are modulated by parameter to be measured. So the sensing material properties are modulated. The properties can be elastic or piezoelectric or dielectric or conductivity or mass of the material, sensing material, which will change by the parameter to be measured. So what are the piezoelectric materials which we can use is quartz, lithium niobate, lithium tantalite, or nowadays these are the zinc oxide and aluminum nitrate. These are the polycrystalline materials which can be deposited as a thin film. We need not to take any as a substrate. These things can be deposited on a silicon substrate or glass substrate, and then this can be used as a quartz layer and as a piezoelectric layer. And when you look at the important property of quartz, it shows zero temperature coefficient. Therefore, there is no change with respect to the temperature variation. Temperature will not affect the piezoelectric property of the quartz material. Similarly, lithium niobate has an advantage of providing high piezoelectric coupling. So if the piezoelectric coupling is good, the sensitivity will be good. And when you look at the design of how can I design a surface acoustic wave sensor? So this shows a design. Generally, surface acoustic wave sensors can be designed as either delay line filter or it can be designed as a resonator. So here my focus is on how to design a delay line filter. So the delay line filter shows the structure in which you have to choose a piezoelectric substrate on which you can see the metal electrodes. These are the electrodes which are formed, which is called interdigitated transducer, IDT structure. So you can see that comb fingers, looks like a comb finger, interdigitated. The comb fingers which are formed as on one side there are fingers, the other set of fingers which are interleaved. And there are two such set of IDT structures are there. This is called input IDT. This is called output IDT. Between the input IDT and output IDT, this is called a delay line. This space is called delay line. And in this delay line, you have to deposit your sensing film or sensing layer or sensing material, which can sense the analyte which you want to measure. So for example, you can deposit some polymer which can be sensitive to, for example, hydrogen gas, or some metal or metal oxide films can be deposited, which can sense the unique gases. So for example, volatile gases, or similarly for biological applications, you can properly choose the sensing layer or immobilize the sensing layer, and then the antibodies can be deposited on it, and then the antigen, it will react with the antigen and it will give a changes in its material property. So the principle is change in analyte concentration. which will, if you change, for example, I'm measuring some gases, the gas concentration, when it changes, it will produce the change in mass, or it can produce change in conductivity. And this will give change in the surface acoustic wave, amplitude, or phase velocity. And this is the design parameters, where the wave velocity, it defines the, is defined by the, or it is given by the substrate material and its crystal orientation. For example, if I choose quartz material, its wave velocity is around 3500, and we have to use this in the formula for the resonant frequency. This resonant frequency f naught is given by VR by P. P is the pitch. Pitch is the gap between the distance between the adjacent fingers. So this is the starting of the finger. The next finger starting is here. This distance is called P. This is generally taken as equal to lambda. So you know what is the frequency you need, and for that what will be the lambda you need. Accordingly, you have to design the interdigitated comb structures. For example, I need to measure at 100 megahertz. For 100 megahertz, I know the wave velocity of the substrate, which is given in the data sheet, and that wave velocity you have to substitute, and you can choose what is the lambda value for the frequency, resonant frequency of 100 megahertz. And based on that, for example, this may approximately equal to 40 micrometer. Then I have to choose 40 micrometer. Then this is, for example, the width of the finger is 10 micron, the spacing is 10, this finger is 10, this is 10. So that 40 micron you will get. So this VR divided by 40, you will get the resonant frequency. Whether you can play with this. What is the resonant frequency you need? And accordingly, you have to choose the finger width and the spacing between the fingers. And the acoustic aperture is generally chosen. Acoustic aperture is the distance of the length of the finger of overlapping. What is the overlap length of the finger? This is the overlap length. So this is called A. This is generally taken as between 1 lambda to 10 lambda, any value you can choose. And the width of the radiated beam, or I can say that the bandwidth, when you get the output, that is the IDT structure output, you will get the it is a filter. So you can choose what is the, you can see what is the Q value, what is the bandwidth, and the narrower bandwidth with more fingers. If you keep the fingers as more, then the bandwidth will be reduced, so that it will give high selectivity and the Q value will be high. And this is the design. And when you look at some of the other properties, that is IDT structures, which are the interleaved electrodes, are generally made up of metal. So people are using aluminum, which is the cheap and cheap material, as well as it will not be affected by your analytes and all. You can use aluminum. Otherwise, gold metal electrodes will be used. And delay line is the space between the IDTs across which the surface acoustic wave will propagate. This is known as delay line. As I showed earlier, you can see this green color shows the delay line through which the acoustic wave travels. And you can see that the surface acoustic wave is a sinusoidal electrical input signal which creates an alternating regions of tensile and compressive strain between the fingers of the IDT by the piezoelectric effect, and produces a mechanical wave at the surface, which is called as surface acoustic wave. And this surface acoustic wave travels on the surface on the delay line, the space between the IDTs. And ideally, the input electrical signal should be at the resonant frequency to minimize the insertion loss. So to reduce the insertion loss, you have to choose resonant frequency. The input signal should be fed at a resonant frequency, and the frequency range can be from 10 megahertz to several gigahertz, depending on the substrate, type of substrate, orientation, as well as the IDT structures, what is the lambda you are choosing. And every year you can see 4 to 5 billion SAR devices are produced around the globe. So it has a lot of applications. So that's why it is very interesting. And I thought this is a right time I can pass on this information to the young generation. And if you look at the applications of SAW sensors, it can be used for chemical sensing, any gas sensing and humidity sensors, and biological sensors and fingerprint readers. So this is the broad category. You can see chemical sensor means any chemicals, gas, any gases, you can try with that. And the humidity, biological sensor, there are a lot of biological element have been detected using the SAW sensors. And fingerprint readers are coming up now with the SAW sensors, which are very accurate and really reliable. And some of the literature I have seen, which are very interesting. The humidity sensor developed by Jianho Li et al. And reported in 2017 in a conference at Taiwan. You can see that they used graphene as a sensing layer. And of course, they use the aluminum nitride as the piezoelectric layer. The blue color shows the piezoelectric layer deposited on silicon. And this is a polycrystalline piezoelectric layer on which they deposited the interdigitated electrodes. And then the graphene layer is the sensing layer. So the graphene oxide. So the graphene oxide film is used as a sensing layer. And they found that they measured the humidity from 10 to 90% humidity. And they used this without graphene oxide and with graphene oxide. They were able to see that there is a shift in the frequency in several hundreds of kilohertz frequency deviation is there. So the frequency change is very good with respect to the change in humidity. So this is one of the wonderful report which has been reported recently in 2017. Similarly, in 2012, a biosensor, surface acoustic wave biosensor it is for cancer marking. So Frederick et al. In 2012 reported about how this SAW-based sensor can be used to detect the breast cancer markers. So this anti-HER2 is the antibody for breast cancer marker, and this breast cancer molecule, and this is coated on a SAW biosensor as a sensing layer. And these antibodies are immobilized via biotintylated protein A to detect. There are so many biological processes they follow, and they reported about this is process 1, this is process 2 with different incubation times. And they found that the process 2 gives a very good change in frequency, difference in frequency. This is with respect to the sample injection. Once the sample is being injected, they were able to find the change in frequency. So to detect the breast cancer markers. This is also interesting. And another example of the report is the SAW-based chemical sensor to measure the hydrogen gas, to detect the hydrogen gas. This is reported by Lei all measured in Sensors and Actuators B in 2008. This SAW sensor, they use the polypyrrole nanofibers as a sensing layer. And of course, they form the IDT structures, and they use the zinc oxide on lithium tantalum oxide substrate. So they used lithium tantalum oxide itself is a piezoelectric material, and over which they use the zinc oxide layer also. And they found that you can see that this is with respect to time, they changed the concentration of the hydrogen 0.06, 0.125. They increase the concentration of hydrogen. You can see that the frequency is getting shifted. The change in frequency is more. Again, 0.25, change in frequency is high, 0.5% change in frequency. Between this point and this point, you can see there are several kilohertz changes are there. And then again, they reduce, they were able to see that when the concentration reduces, the frequency is also getting reduced. So this is for measuring the hydrogen gas. So these are some of the example I have shown, but plenty of papers are there and people have reported, and some of the things have come as a commercialized device also. So when you design a SAW sensor for sensing some of the chemical or biological analytes, what are the challenges you may face? What is it will induce some acoustic losses, and attenuation will happen. How to and why these losses are happening, how to overcome these losses. So the acoustic losses or attenuation may take place due to the scattering of acoustic wave at the surface imperfections. When the surface has a lot of roughness and it is not a smooth surface, then the acoustic wave will get scattered. So you need a highly polished surface so that these losses, acoustic losses, can be avoided. Then the acoustic reflections at electrodes may happen, and this will induce some electrical impedance mismatch and misalignment in structure. May also it will induce some impedance mismatching, and therefore the losses will happen. How to overcome this? You have to use a photolithography process, which is to obtain a precise electrode positioning. So you have to, when you are using some 10 micron or 5 micron as the finger space and finger width, you have to use a proper photolithography process to get a precise electrode positioning. Therefore, it should be identical. The fingers and the space gap between the electrodes, IDT structures, should be similar between the input side and output side, and all the figure dimensions should be very precise. So you have to use a semiconductor photo process to obtain the precise dimensions of the electrodes. And then phonons or charge carrier interactions may happen at the interface, and the acoustic or electrical interactions will take place, and the electrode resistivity and mass may get affected. And you have to look at the piezoelectric coupling of the substrate. So this piezoelectric coupling, if the piezoelectric coupling is poor, then you may not get a good acoustic wave. And therefore, you have to choose the materials and the substrates where the sensing material should get bonded to the or attached to the substrate very well. And you have to look at the very high purity substrate to be chosen to get the acoustic wave to travel, to generate as well as to travel along the surface. And you also have to look at the environmental conditions. The humidity will affect your sensor. You are going to measure the hydrogen, but it will also measure the humidity. So that how are you going to see the avoid the interference produced by humidity or temperature? Already I have mentioned that the piezoelectric substrates are sensitive to temperature, except the quartz. So when the temperature varies, then it will induce some interference in your measurement. So humidity also, it will affect your measurement. If you are measuring at the steamy environment, it will affect your measurements. So lot of research works or the opportunities for research to choose right material and to choose the processes or to optimize the processes and to select the techniques. All these things, lot of research works are possible. So as a concluding remark, I want to say that SAW sensors are very attractive sensors which can be designed and fabricated for several applications, as it can be a biological or it can be a environmental sensing, like you want to measure the what is it, pollutions, what type of pollutions and how much is the pollution in the air. All the air pollutants can be, or water pollutants can be measured using SAW sensors, as well as for a lot of biological applications there. So what I have seen is about the material design, principle of operation and applications. And also I have mentioned what are the challenges in fabricating a successful device. And of course, applications have shown a few applications with the literature. And of course, there are a lot of opportunities for research and industries to design and develop SAW sensors for various applications. So I wish the audience can focus on developing surface acoustic wave sensors for the future work. And I acknowledge the Board of Research on Nuclear Sciences, BRNS, for the financial support on fabrication of SAW sensors for hydrogen sensing, which is the recent funding we got just before the pandemic period. We received the funding in the month of February. And we have not yet started the work. We are just designing the surface acoustic wave sensor. And special thanks to Mrs. Suganya Jayer of working on this project. And thanks to all the project associates, SRF, JRFs of our Center of Excellence in MEMS and Microfluidics at Rajeshri Engineering College. I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share my views on surface acoustic wave sensor during this conference. All the best for all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us about surface acoustic wave sensor technology. Really, your session enlightened us with a deep knowledge about the principal design parameters, applications, and implementation challenges of SAW sensors. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we would like to express our gratitude by felicitating you with a virtual memento as a token of appreciation. We request you to kindly accept our heartfelt appreciation, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Welcome, ma'am. A clear plan, conceptual thinking, and timely execution makes everything come out well. With that note, we would now request Dr. Srijita S. Nath, Associate Dean, Department of ECE, Biomedical and Medical Electronics, to virtually release the souvenir of our 7th IEEE International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Nancy. With immense pleasure, I would like to start the presentation or release of our souvenir for the year ICSS 2020. For this, I would like to thank the coordinators, Dr. Mangai Karasi Madam and Dr. Anita Juliet, along with their team, for the great efforts they have put for regulating and presenting this souvenir today. Their efforts, tireless efforts, they have been doing since for the past 3 or 4 months, and the team has done an enormous job. I thank each and everyone for their effort, and thank you so much. This time, as usual, every year we receive more than 150, 200 papers. The same thing has happened this year also. We have received 200 plus papers from so many scholars, faculty members, and delegates from throughout the world. But based on plagiarism and the quality, the experts have selected exclusively 98 papers for registration, and these papers were aligned as proceedings for the souvenir. I thank my director, principal, vice principal, and my fellow members, my team, for uh, organizing this event and helping me release this souvenir today. With the permission of my principal, sir, I declare this souvenir release for the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, I take this opportunity to thank our principal, vice principal, HODs of all departments, faculty members, students, and all our participants for joining us for the inaugural today. We have come to the end of the inaugural session and would next start with the paper presentation session. The session will be held in a virtual mode through Google Meet. We request the participants and the session chairs to join your corresponding sessions using the Google Meet link provided by the session in charges. The forenoon session will start at 11:30 a.m. and we request the authors to join the session on time. We also request the speakers to please limit their respective presentation to 15 minutes. All the participants are requested to kindly take a note of it. Let's have a great sharing of knowledge. The links for the paper presentation session will be posted in the chat box. We request the authors to join your respective sessions as per the schedule informed prior by the session in charges. We also welcome all the faculties and students to join the presentation session and have a fruitful discussion. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, sir, Principal sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, sir.